Hi everyone, it's Mr. Baumgarten here with another Microbit video, and today we're going to be looking at how we can use Python to work with lists, and we're going to work towards getting our Microbit to play some music for us in this video towards the end. So first up, what do I mean by a list? So we've been working with variables and we've been using variables to add and subtract values. A list is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's a list of, and we can assign multiple values to this one variable. Effectively, that's what it allows. So what does a list look like? I could have a list of items, and I use square brackets to denote that I am creating a list, and then I can just put items, put different values inside my square brackets, and I just use commas to separate them. So for example, if I put H, E, L, L, O, right, so I've got the letters that make up hello, and then I might use image dot happy. Alright, I can ask the Microbit to work through every item that's in this list and just display it on the screen. To do that, I can use a thing called a for loop. And what this looks like is for letter in items, display dot show the letter, and then let's do a brief sleep, and I can flash that onto my Microbit. And we'll see going across the Microbit once it's finished loading. H-E-L-L-O, happy face. All right. And so I can just add extra items into my list here. Comma, let's put in a space. G. So this is kind of like what the scroll does for us automatically. G-O-O-D. B, Y, E, and flash that to the Microbit, and then I'll go hello, I'll get the happy face, I'll get a brief gap, and then I'll get goodbye appearing on screen. Goodbye. Alright, so that's not terribly exciting, but what it does show is how the for loop works. So I've got this list here called items, and I've started the list with my square brackets, ended it with the close of the square brackets, commas to separate every value, and then just a whole bunch of values inside it. And so what this will do is it will look inside items and put the value of the very first thing, in this case the H, into a new variable called letter. And then it will run all my indented code that follows the for statement, where letter has this value assigned to it. So I get my H appear across the screen, and then I go to sleep for half a second. And then when it's finished the indented code, it'll come back up and say, well, is there another item? Is there something else inside items? And there's the letter E. So it will put the value E inside letter and then run the indented code again. And it will keep looping through until it has finished everything that's in your list. And then it'll run whatever code is unindented. So if I had a clear to turn off my screen here, it would run this once it has finished looping through everything that's in my list. All right, so that's a fairly basic, simple introduction to the idea. Let's get it to do something a little more meaningful with this. Perhaps we can get the Microbit to automatically add some numbers together. All right, so again, I can create a list of values, and I can do 5, 6, 10, 3, 8. All right, so here's a set of numbers, and I can say for number. Right, in the same way I use the word letter, I can call this whatever I want. Right, I'm just making up a name for the variable that is meaningful to me. So for number inside my items, if I want to add them together, then maybe what I need is a running total. So I'm going to create a new variable here called total. And so every time I'm looping through the items in the list, I want to set total to whatever was already inside total, and I'm going to add the new number to it. So whatever was inside total, add number to it, whatever that calculates to, save it back into total. And so now I can display scroll total, and the microbit will add this together for me. So if I flash that to my microbit, what number will we have appear across the screen? 22, is that right? 32, yes. All right, so that's gone through and added all the numbers together. Maybe I want to get it to show me every number as it adds them together. So I can display scroll just so we can see what's happening inside number. All right, and we'll get all the different values for number run across our screen. All right, so flash that to the microbit, and I'll get 5, 6, 10, 3, and 8, right? 32. Right, maybe I need to put in an equal sign so I know that it's finished. So just, let's put in here a display scroll, put in a little equal sign, and flash that across the microbit. And so this will, you can see here that the scroll, I haven't written scroll 5 different times, right? But it's this one command that is using it, that is running to scroll and print all those different numbers across. And I can put in as many different numbers as I want in here. Right, and I can go silly with them if I needed to. I can put in some negatives. I can put in 100 different numbers. Right, so maybe I'm wanting Python to add a whole bunch of stuff for me. Right, and so this is where lists get convenient, because rather than having to add them all together manually and write out a line for every single addition, instead I can just keep adding more and more stuff to my list, and Python is more than happy to just deal with it. The list can be as long as I want, and it will just keep on processing it for me the same way. All right, so there's my minus 32, 3, 7, 44, 99, 100, 2, 17 equals 412. So 412. There we go. So lists are quite useful. And we're going to now use lists to play some music. But please do experiment with the math side of things with lists as well. All right? Because they are a very powerful tool of programming. Now, from Microbit import star, to get some music happening on our Microbit, we also must import music. Please do not forget that line. And we're going to start off by playing. Let's go for a classic. Let's go for Happy Birthday. And so let's see, music.set tempo. And I'm going to set the tempo to, for the beats per minute, I'm going to set it to 240. So Happy Birthday is what I'm going to call my list. And I put in here the notes that are going to make up my song. So I'm just going to do some indenting here just to make it easier for me to visually see what's going on. So it's the letter C is the first note, and then a C again, and then a D, and then a C, F. The E note I need to play for twice as long, so a normal note length is 4. Alright, so if I need it to play for twice as long, I put in the colon, and I put in an 8, and then I want a short rest silence for the length of a note. So that's the R. Okay, so that's happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Come on, let's get this right. You. That's an F. Happy birthday. All right, so we go up. C5. So all for the musicians amongst you, all these notes are in octave 4 by default. Now, if I want to go up an octave, I put in the 5 to denote that I want this C note to be playing in the 5th octave. And then back to the 4th octave again. 8. Oh, well, hang on a sec. Where am I? Getting myself confused. That's an A, that's an F, that's an E, that's a D, and then a silence note. And then the 4th line is the sharps. So A sharp, A sharp, A, F, G, and then an F8. Right, now if I've done this correctly, it should play Happy Birthday for us. Okay, and so to do this, for note in Happy Birthday, music.play the note. Right, but what we'll also do is we'll get it to put the note that it is playing on the screen. So we'll put display show note, and I'm just going to put brackets 0 in square brackets 0 there. And what that is saying is whatever's in note, I only want the first character. So it'll say F or E or R or A. And the reason for that is because the show can only fit one character on the screen at a time, and I don't want it to delay. So in fact, I'm going to say wait equals false, because I don't want it to put my music out of sync and cause delays in my music. So if I've done this correctly, let's see if this works. Flash. There we go. That is Happy Birthday. And so I've described how we can change the length of the notes. So like I said, the default is 4, and we can change the octave. We can play sharps, and if we need a flat note, then that is just put the lowercase b in for a flat. Here's one I prepared earlier. You can see what it is. Got my song title running across the screen. So what I recommend doing from here is that you learn how the NeoPixels work and get some kind of coloured flashing artwork going that's in time with your songs. Now, what I didn't properly explain was how to wire up your audio. So you can see what I've got here. I've got one wire running to my G and D pin and one wire running to my 0 pin, and then I've just wired it up to my set of headphones. If you have a 4-wire set of headphones here, then I've just got one on the first pin, and then I put one on the second to last pin, and that was putting it on my right ear. You just need to kind of experiment with which ones work for what. Otherwise, in class, for those of you who are my students, I've got these little speakers, so you can just wire up, use the hooks to wire up the little speakers, and you can play it on that. Yeah. Cool, and I've got some links to some different websites with music that you can play with, but if you're musically inclined, then see what you can create. Otherwise, find some songs on the internet to copy out and get it to work. All right, have fun with that. This is Mr. Baumgarten signing off.